Hey guys, Steven from Third Wheel here. If you didn't see last episode, then this episode's probably not going to make any sense because this is a two-part episode. My story in regards to the topic for today was rather long, so we decided to cut it in half, make my story its own episode, and then come back and post the rest of that episode as another episode. I said episode a lot, deal with it. But yeah, if you are listening to this and it makes no sense, it's probably because you didn't listen to the first episode, purely because we just take off and start talking. We decided after recording that we should probably cut it in half, which is why it's not planned in the recording. And that's why I'm doing this. So yeah, if you haven't listened to the episode before this, go check it out. If you have, thank you for coming back and listen. Enjoy the rest of this episode.
Like I'm not about to go through a weird grapevine in order to just be allowed to talk to you.
I get that because I mean, granted, sometimes even though people give me icky vibes, it's not enough to the point where I think you're gonna burn me. I just think you're just kind of a gross person, like as a whole. But I also don't think you have the balls to hurt anybody. So like I'll let you be around me even though you're not gonna be my best friend in the world. And I had that with give me a name, Steven, for a man.
Jackson.
Oh fuck. Okay. I think as I talk about it, Brandon, you're gonna know who I'm talking about. But
You're talking about Jackson.
I had a friend, and her name will be what, Brandon? If it's a fruit, I'm defaulting to Steven.
Cheryl.
Ew, no, Steven, give me a different name.
Bree.
Bree? Oh, okay, I like that name. Okay, so I had this friend, Bree, and I've known her since first grade, because she got held back in kindergarten. No, kindergarten, because she had to redo kindergarten. Anyway, so I've known her since kindergarten, whatever. We ended up, my elementary and middle were combined, and granted, we always had this kind of weird on-again, off-again relationship of, like, she'd hang out with me when she had literally nobody else to hang out with, and I was kind of invisible when she was with her other friends. But she didn't treat me, like, overall super poorly, and I didn't really have a ton of friends, so I didn't really care that much, to be completely honest. So anyway, she had this weird codependent relationship with another girl named Steven.
Alexa.
Okay. So, Brie and Alexa were, like, best friends. And granted, I have no problem with that. Like, if you're closer with someone else than you are with me, I don't really care, right? Because your friendship with someone else doesn't mitigate our own relationship. However, they did everything together, everything, all the time, hung out constantly, constant sleepovers, always doing whatever. Even, like, at a super young age, they were buying each other super expensive gifts, like Tiffany necklaces and shit. And I was like, what is this? We're, like, in 8th grade. Calm down. And so, anyway, basically, this is going on. Anyway, back to Jackson. Me, Bree, and Alexa, all three of us went to the same high school. And so Bree had this super long-term boyfriend who I'll just call Jake. No. This long-term boyfriend who we will call
John, say it!
Whatever, John. Okay, so John... So, John is such an egotistical asshole. I think he got off on the fact that he thought he was so much smarter and better than everyone else. And then he ended up, like, getting way too cocky and confident. They dated for, like, 2 years, and then he started seeing this other girl, and they were, like, flirting, and it wasn't exactly cheating, but it was, like, those gray area of, like, it could be considered emotional cheating,
Yeah.
And so... But she was also dating someone, but he was under the impression that he could get any girl he wanted, and that if he broke up with Bree, they could be together. So he broke up with Bree, and then, yeah, he ended up getting nobody, and then he was emotionally deflated and had no confidence for the rest of high school, which I thought was funny. Anyway, that had nothing to do with the story.
I was like, that's such an abrupt ending. What?
Okay, so this is post John. This is Jackson. So Bree is always someone who put herself in situations to make herself older. She always wanted something. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. She wanted relationships. She wanted this. She wanted that. She didn't let it happen naturally. It's something she actively sought, which I always thought was very weird behavior for someone in high school. You know? Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but, like, everybody in high school thinks that, like, because they're not dating someone in high school in their teens, they're gonna die single. And it's like, you realize the average age for getting married is, like, 30, right? Like, you got, like, another 15 years, another entire span of your life right now.
I mean,
until it's, like, a quote-unquote problem.
I think if it's, like, a healthy, like, for healthy intentions, then it's not a bad thing at all. That's, like, just a good thing to actually, like, seek out.
Nobody was doing it in a healthy way.
Oh, I meant, but, like, if Bree was doing it in a healthy way, like, actively looking for a good relationship.
She had also later confided in me that she wasn't even sure she was in love with him until later on, and then she was. So a happy ending coincidentally. But that, that's weird. But anyway, so Jackson was different, and he, like, encouraged her to sneak out of the house all the time and to drink and to whatever, which I was like, none of my business, because at this point I had my own friends, my own whatever. And granted, I didn't like Jackson that much. I mean, I didn't really care. We hung out and we talked because we had, like, the same PE class. So it's not like I was, like, blatantly ignoring him. I mean, I thought he was funny every once in a while, but, I'm sure Hitler cracked a good joke too. That doesn't mean he's a good person.
He was a really good speaker, so yeah, probably.
Like, that doesn't mean you're a good person. I thought he was funny. But, oh my god, no. So, Alexa, being the absolute creep she is, made an entire presentation, and it was like 20 plus slides, of why he's a terrible person and they should break up. And she presented it to her right in front of him while they were together. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't like Alexa, because my mom, when I told my mom Alexa was going to high school with us, she was like, ugh. I was like, that's a very, like, big reaction. And my mom is like, that's because she's the worst. And I was like, I mean, no, she's not. She's not that bad. And my mom is like, she's rude. She rolls her eyes and gives everybody attitude, including the adults. She's awful. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then, I realized how absolutely creepy and manipulative she is. Because you know what? Want to know something really weird? They're still together. Like, they were college roommates, which isn't creepy in and of itself. Yeah, I know, you and whatever. Bleep out the name. Yeah, I know you did that, Brandon.
Yeah, you and fuck.
Yeah, you and bleep it out. Whatever, bleep it later. But anyway, I know you guys did that. But she did it you guys did it in a way you're like, oh, we happen to go to the same place. So we might as well room together.
I meant it.
Understand the intention now.
I meant it clicked as I know who you're talking about.
Oh, I thought you were like, well, I went to kindergarten and we had college roommates.
My friend's not like that.
Well, anyway.
No.
But it was just this whole situation, which I'm also realizing has nothing really to do with the topic. But it's just it was, I don't know. I thought it was extremely weird because she was manipulative. She kind of, like, emotionally held Bree hostage, and she still has her there, weirdly enough, because I still see them, like, together in pictures all the time. But, like, Bree is physically incapable of doing anything or going anywhere without Alexa. And Alexa has, like, carefully constructed it that way, too. It's weird. I think it's really weird.
Oh yeah, no, it totally is. Once you made the distinction on, like, the difference between Brandon and his roommate, I was like, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, he just happened to, like, they ended up going to the same school, Because, I mean, by the time high school rolled around, I don't think you guys were that close, were you, Brandon?
No. not as.
I don't think you guys were even really close in elementary, middle. Were you?
Definitely more before the end of high school, but yeah, I mean, not like Andreas level or anything like that. But...
Who was also our first guest on the pod, so we can actually say his
so
name.
we're allowed to say his name.
Yeah. No, but it was weird. The crazy thing is Alexa has another weird thing where I actually sought revenge on someone else's behalf because of Alexa.
I would love to hear it.
So, like Bree, Alexa had this weird thing of like needing to keep up or whatever. That way they could stay on the same weird, creepy psychic wavelength. And so Alexa started dating one of my friends. And I mean, this was kind of before we were super close. Like, I didn't really know this was a thing until after the fact. And we'll call him Cameron, I guess. So Cameron, I don't know why he was dating her. I mean, this is just my thing. He's very emotionally constipated. He just does not. He just doesn't say how he feels, and maybe this is also because I've never dated Cameron, but he's not very outward with like his feelings. Like, yeah, he'll make jokes and he'll be like happy and whatever, but he's not very forthcoming with how he's feeling. And so they started dating, and Alexa was just kind of borderline verbally abusive to him, and it got to the point where Cameron was just like fucking ignoring her. He did not give a shit.
Base.
And then she did something where like she was trying to grab something from him forcefully, and he pushed her away and ended up like grazing her face or something. And then she went around and told everybody that could like listen that he struck her, he was abusive towards her, and he was doing all this shit. And bro, I I didn't find out until the following year because I hate people, so I don't talk. I mean, the one thing that like I think I kind of forgot is just because you keep to yourself doesn't mean other people won't comment about you. You know? I mean, granted, I was not appreciated in my time until COVID because I was not appreciated in my time until COVID because I was the loudmouth that constantly was talking and wouldn't stop. However, when it came time to COVID and no one wanted to turn on their cameras and no one wanted to speak, and I opened my mouth, everyone was like, blessed. Thanks, Grace. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
Papa bless.
It's like, shut up. You don't care. And then, no. But I found out from some upperclassmen who were like a year older than me who told me all the good tea. And this is a completely different story, but it's the same people that let it slip that someone thought that I was stalking them. So,
what the fuck?
Yeah, completely different story, completely also embarrassing, which I'll tell later if it ever actually comes up. But, yeah, same upperclassmen, and they're like, I brought it up in passing, and I was like, oh, my friend Cameron, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, ew, Cameron? I was like, do you know Cameron? They're like, yeah, he's, like, the abusive, like, prick on campus. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, what? You want to come again? And, yeah, and so I was like, you're gonna tell me right now where you heard that.
Tell me who you're working for.
It was basically like a wild goose chase of going from like person to person to person, and I never figured out who the origin of that came from. I mean, obviously it was Alexa, you know, but
who
like,
she told.
Yeah, no, and so I ended up beefing with Bree actually, and that's kind of how like our relationship weirdly severed because of this incident and something else that happened with Jackson. Because, I mean, weirdly enough, even though I wasn't close with Jackson, Jackson was also a pathological liar he was lying about me to her, and he was lying about her to me, and so that kind of like destroyed our relationship too. And I think I mean, I kind of ended things with her along the lines of, I love you and that you were my friend for a long time and I always want what's best for you, but like, see you never.
Obviously manipulative, like,
Yeah.
so many red flags.
But anyway, so no, I ended up beefing with Bree because I was like, you guys have had it out for Cameron since day one. And I have known you guys for longer, and both of you are claiming he's a liar. And somehow I'm more inclined to believe him because your story isn't adding up.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying he's wrong, but you also refute everything he's saying by basically being like, no, like there's no like sustenance in like what they're saying, And so I ended up like, bro, I wish I had done something drastic or whatever. But I just had a lot of choice words. And I was like, you guys are shitty people.
Mm.
I was like, you're awful, and I don't know why you think it's okay to like go around and like say that someone's abusive. And literally, I have proof. Like your other ex, like literally said you were also equally awful, and now he's awesome and living his best life in Japan. So you know what? Screw you, Alexa. Fuck you. Like.
That's such a weird subtle flex to just be in Japan. To have lived here and suddenly you just are in Japan. It's such a weird flex.
But no, it was just she was just a manipulator. And the reason she got away with it is because most manipulators are bold and loud and confident. But the thing is she was quiet and reserved. And so no one gave her a second look.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, granted, if I had the chance to see her now, I would fucking sock her in the face.
Let's set up a cage match.
Oh, I would win, 100%.
Oh,
dude, I would strike that bitch down. I use elbows.
Well, no, it'll be you fight your person and I'll fight my person.
I'm not above fighting.
And then let's get Brandon's story in here to figure out who he's gonna start fighting. We'll make a day out of it. That was kind of your cue.
Okay. I didn't pick up on
that. I noticed because it was silent for a little bit.
I do have a revenge story. I think I've actually told on here before, but
less points of disqualified.
I'll re-envision it. But first of all, my betrayal story. I was betrayed a lot last week.
Oh my god.
What are you gonna talk about?
My own body betrayed me on several occasions last week.
Oh my god. That's not betrayal.
I would say it is.
I'm looking for some great tea. Like stuff that I would be super excited to hit Grace up with later in the week. Not, I got sick and it wasn't COVID.
No. What was the betrayal part was that I thought I was okay on multiple occasions,
Brandon,
and then I wasn't okay.
Okay, Brandon, do you remember? We'll call her Gabriella.
Why? That's disgusting.
Because it's her full name, not the name she went by. Which is equally funny. But so Gabriella was kind of low-key, like, not the best person. Like I said, grimy, but not grimy enough for me to care or, like, make a scene about it. However, I guess... did I go into depth about, like, how we watched our friends, like, live long enough to become the villain?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we kind of did an episode on that.
Well, no, in this episode, because, we'll call him Jordan. What's with me and J names today? Whatever. Anyway, so Jordan ended up being one of those guys that literally dated a freshman. And we were in shock. We were all in shock. We were like, what the hell? Because, like, granted, we knew he was weird, but we didn't know he was he was like date a freshman weird. Like, we were all pissed. At least I was.
Date a freshman weird category.
There are tiers to, like, weird when weird also coincides with creepy, and that's what that was.
Yeah, there's a scale.
So yeah, no, it was super weird. And then Jordan, before that happened, Jordan was obsessed with Gabriella. Like, obsessed with her. Talking to her all the time. And he made it, like, in which we later learned, like, he would throw us all under the bus and, like, frame us for murder if it meant, like, she would give him, like, a glance. And I'm not even exaggerating. He was, like, low-key obsessed with her. And it's also kind of like, dude, she's using you. Plain and simple. Like, she's totally using you. I don't think any of us realized how bad it was, though. Like, we knew they were talking, and we knew he had, like, a thing for her. We didn't realize how bad the situation was, though. But it was bad. But anyway, so I mean, I think she was absent that day or something, and I forget how. She had this, like, long-term friend who I'll call Cole. Cole was, like, the most, like, don't fuck with him guy. Like, he did martial arts in, like, the cool, dangerous way, not the whole, like, I just earned my purple belt kind of way. Like, he goes to, like, competitions and shit, like, he could kill somebody kind of level. However, they had a falling out over, like, a fucking Sprite, I guess. They went to a party, and...
Was it a Sprite cranberry?
No, it was just a regular Sprite. They both went to a party, and Cole was like, hey, Gabriella, go get me a Sprite. And she was like, no, do it yourself. And, oh, that was the wrong answer.
And so he killed her!
And then that started a whole fight of, like, I do so much for you, I do everything for you, I constantly take care of you, I listen to you, like, basically trauma dump on me, like, I do so much for you, and you can't even do simple things for me. It was like, you know, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't Sprite, it was the fact that she does nothing for him ever, you know? And so anyway,
Yeah.
when that happened, he was ranting about her and how, like, pissed off he was and how annoyed he was. And he's like, thoughts, feelings, Gabriella, thoughts, feelings. And I was like, you know, like, I think she just says a lot of things that, like, I don't agree with. I don't think that makes her inherently a bad person. I think if she educated herself more, like, you know, it would be easier to be around her. Because personally, one of my biggest pet peeves in high school, now I've gotten over it because I realize it's just people aren't going to change and they're going to be petty, you know, but, like, I didn't like it when people said, like, that's so gay, like, you're retarded, you're whatever. I know I say retard every once in a while, but I do it for the ironic comedic effect.
Yeah.
But no, she just said stuff like that all the time, and it was like, I didn't think she was a bad person. I was like, oh, I don't like what she said. However, Jordan turned around and said everybody fucking hated her, and was like, oh, nobody likes you, they were all talking about how much they hate you today. And then she turned around and, like, it didn't matter who was there or not. She assumed everybody was. She DM'd everybody, fuck you, and then blocked everybody. Oh my god. And so what pissed me off is I reached out to her and I was like, buddy, what's happening? And she's like, Jordan told me what you all said, whatever. She's like, Jordan told me what you said. I know you said it, and I know Brandon said it. And I was like, okay, first of all, shut your fucking mouth, because when does Brandon ever talk shit about anybody? I was like, are you fucking stupid? And then she also blocked me, but I was like, whatever at that point. And dude, oh my god. And then she reached out to fucking Cameron and was like, hey, I'm sorry.
How many wives?
She's like, well, because then she also started getting her friends to fucking harass other people. Like we had this friend who, she wasn't even really involved in it, but she was, like, getting her friend to be like, kill yourself, you're a terrible person, we hate you, and, like, anything that they said was just responded with, okay, boomer. You know, like, and we were just like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I ended up going with that friend to the deans to be like, she got harassed. And they're like, well, this doesn't classify as harassment because it was only once. And it's like, are you fucking serious? It's like, they're telling her she's not going to be safe. She better watch her back. Otherwise, they're going to fucking hurt her. And this isn't considered harassment. Like, you're out of your mind. They did nothing about it. And I'm still pissed to this day. But yeah.
Harassment.
Yeah, because harassment happens multiple times. This is a one-off, like, oh, he's upset, whatever, and it's like that's how people get murdered when you ignore shit like this.
Yeah.
This is very
But
true.
yeah. So Cameron ended up like messaging me out of the blue and was like, Gabriella sends this message and was like, copy paste. I'm sorry for my actions. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for that. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you don't have the
Wait,
balls
that
to.
message came from Jackson?
No, not from Jackson.
Or
From Cameron.
Cole? Oh, Cameron, got you.
No, yeah, I know so many names. But yeah, no, she didn't have the balls to message anybody herself because she's a fucking coward. You know, she's
Yeah.
literally like a coward because she knew nobody was gonna accept her apology. So she got Cameron, the only person who didn't give a fuck, and was like, "Tell everybody I'm sorry for my actions." And I was like, "Go suck my dick!" Like, shut the fuck up. I was like, "You're an awful person." I was like, "I can't believe you like." I was like, "Cameron, I can't believe you like actually sent this shit to me." I was like, ugh, I was pissed.
Kind of
To
funny.
say the least.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, whatever.
Is this Brandon's story, by the way?
Oh no.
Mm.
Your story better not be your sickness, though. Like
No,
let's
no,
be
that was,
real
that was
here.
an honorable mention because I did feel betrayed.
No, it's a
Multiple
mention. Your body being sick is a mention. It is not honorable.
Yeah,
At
but then
all.
I felt perfectly fine one day. Then the next day it was something else entirely.
That's how
It
it
was
works.
like,
That's how that works. You ever hear about the eye of the hurricane?
Oh my
That's
god.
what that is.
yeah, but it was
That's how it works.
like the first day it was like fevers and stuff. The other day it was like immobilizing migraine.
Oh my god.
No. I
But
feel
anyways,
so bad for you.
I will. I don't know. I have kind of both. I'm trying to go through the betrayal one just a little fast because I don't know if it's entirely considered betrayal or not. It did at the time, but I don't know looking back now. But
Let me
and then
know,
I do want to have a little bit of time for my revenge story.
Let's
But
make it fast.
um so as far as the betrayal story, um growing up, I had I had a my I mean obviously I I guess not obviously, but I was kind of the same as I am now. I'm not very sociable. Uh,
Talk.
and I had I just had a friend group of three other just very close friends. One of them was Andres. Uh, and yeah, no, like we've met in kindergarten, like literally like did everything together like every single day for like and like we did stupid stuff like cause yeah, I was in a K through 8 school, so I had the pretty much same class growing up. But yeah, no, like everyone in my class like knew us four as like the like whatever, like we were like that friend group.
The click.
No, we got in trouble one time because I guess the quote unquote leader of our group is because he was the one who kind of like got us all together and like whatever and stuff. He was trying. He basically referred to us as the buddy club, just us four or whatever.
That's
And that's
cringy
just
as fuck.
yeah. Oh yeah. No. Then that's how he just kind of referred to us. And then someone and a girl in the upper grades told on us because our clubs weren't allowed at our school, and even though it wasn't an actual well. I should say clubs weren't allowed because we had like robotics club and all that stuff, but
Lighting technology
they
on
weren't.
fire.
We weren't allowed to have like our own like non-official school clubs or whatever, and 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 yeah, no, like we weren't like club or whatever. He just referred to us as the buddy club. But yeah, and also some girl in the upper grades told on us for that, and we got in trouble, and we're like, no, you're not allowed to call yourselves.
You guys aren't friends, okay? Get that through your head.
So yeah, no, it's just a lot of shenanigans like that. But like, so basically, it was like that until about fourth grade. Or leader guy that I was kind of mentioning earlier, he at the end of 4th grade, he actually ended up moving out of town, and so yeah, 4th grade was like our last year with him and stuff like that. Sucked, but uh, and so 5th grade happened, and it was just me, Andreas, and this other kid. We'll refer to him as Mickey.
Why was I gonna say Michael?
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey.
I hate that song.
But
You're welcome.
us three, I mean, we still hung out and stuff in 5th grade, but it as we like not kind of towards the end, not as much. Andreas and I still hung out, but it kind of became progressively clear, like after 5th grade and then in the middle school, that Mickey was only really hanging out with us in the first place because or that other I probably should give him a name. I'll call the leader guy uh
Should refer to him
Leon.
as. Oh, never mind. All right, fine.
Caleb. Call him Caleb.
Calling him Caleb, but yeah, no, it kind of just became progressively clear that Mickey only really kind of actually hung out with us because Leon was there, and Leon was kind of popular with everyone else. And like it.
Wanna
Looking
know
back,
who
it kind of
else is popular with everyone else? My mom!
But yeah, looking back, it kind of made more sense now because if there was ever like group projects and stuff like that, Mickey would always like make it a point to like to only pair up with like Leon and stuff like that, and which I don't mind because Andreas and I were pretty much close around of us four anyways. But yeah, looking back, they just kind of made more sense, and then eventually it got to a point where like anytime Andreas and I tried to set up something like to hang out and stuff, like it just became an excuse. Like every like single time, like it just there's just excuses and stuff. And then in sixth grade rolled around, and then a new kid came in. I'll probably bleep this name, but yeah, it was.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
asshole!
Yeah.
I hate that bitch.
It's just gonna be like, yeah, it was beat. Oh, fuck that guy!
Dude, I fucking hate him.
Oh,
He
but
was
yeah,
like,
no.
dude, his dad run for city council and lost because he was a raging homophobic, and it was so controversial within our school they had to move to Brandon's.
Oh yeah, no, he rolled in 6th grade,
Rolled in.
and yeah, he did. And I mean, yeah, I know. Mickey pretty much just like god damn it, what he needs a name probably. Oh no, never mind. I'll just refer to him as New Kid.
Okay.
You'll need to bleep out that. You'll need
The
to bleep out that.
dehumanization.
You'll need to do a lot of bleeping apparently, but
Do that
but
every episode.
But basically, yeah, New Kid obviously just because he's a
Speaking
new.
of bleeping and Steven not doing his job right, dude, you fully put the name of a girl that I was talking shit about on the internet, and you didn't bleep it.
I don't think you asked me to.
I did. Oh my god, I didn't realize I had to.
Well,
For like someone that I'm not close with.
Usually, if you guys don't ask me to bleep a name,
Okay, well,
I
only said her name in general just to prove like a point, and like you said it, and now I was like, oh shit, because you told me to go back and re-listen to some of the episodes, and I did, and now I'm oh my god.
Well, yeah, if it's not said while I'm editing, I don't actually like acknowledge it because I'm listening for hiccups, other stuff. Like audio cues from you guys in order to do something, or audio cue from me to do something that I forgot like to put in. So if it's not said, I'm not paying like very much attention to what's actually being discussed.
But But yeah, no, but just because he was the new kid or whatever, he was he did kind of gain a little bit of a little popularity track for a little bit at the beginning, and so Mickey like immediately
Was a steady fall.
Mickey immediately like buddied up with him and stuff like that, and pretty much just started hanging out whatever. And at that point, Andreas and I were just like, okay, well, this sucks. Like it just it just and what was worse was it's no, the whole Mickey and the new kid thing that was literally, I think that was it was most of sixth grade, but towards the end it kind of what's the word for it? It kind of
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, fizzled
Yeah.
out, whatever.
There you go.
And he started Mickey's. I don't know how it happened, but started hanging out with I'll refer to this person as the class asshole because he was the entire time that I went to that school. He was he was just an asshole.
It was you.
and yeah, he was just no, and yeah, I mean it I just kind of felt helpless just because obviously hanging out with him, he just started also kind of adapting a similar behavioral tract, and yeah, he was just kind of like I don't know if it was more of a realizing we didn't think who he thought he was, or if he just just kind of grew up to a new person, but that was unfortunate. But I did find out we had like a smaller like class reunion sort of thing once we graduated high school, and I did find out asshole kid I think got in trouble or something like that, like big trouble. Like I don't know if it was true or not, but so because they ended up going to and I don't know what
Yeah, like how we're using real names for high schools now.
Yep.
oh yeah, I'll probably bleep that out. But
Nothing's confidential here.
yeah, but yeah, I know I don't. I guess he got beaten up by a drug dealer. So
Wait,
yeah,
wait, who did? Wait,
asshole
no,
kid.
use real name. Who was it?
His name was
Oh, that's actually really fucking funny.
yeah. So I was like, you know what?
That's actually really common to get beat at though. That's so common.
Yeah. So I was like,
That's funny.
I'm not surprised, but I guess.
I would place good money that he'd get beat up by a drug dealer.
Well, it's that was just common though. Like there, I mean, not to stereotype, but like an all boys school is just not a good idea because they're all boys, and I don't know. I feel like sometimes the reason men stay on the straight and narrow is literally just to impress girls sometimes. So,
Yes and no.
So, I mean, I said sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it a mixed bag of sometimes men are okay or oh my god, what the fuck are they doing?
What in the what?
But I know a lot of the girls that went to this high school's like sister school or whatever.
Oh yeah, I
that's
fucking
what they
hated
said.
that.
That's I was told by multiple of them. So again, don't know if it's true or not, but honestly, I would not be surprised if it was. But so yeah, that happened. So, and now for my revenge stories.
Okay,
This
now that we're
one-
done with backstory and we're already an hour and 30 over.
Well, this one won't be terribly long, just because again, I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain this is a different person entirely.
What? Oh, okay. It's not related to anything that happened. That's just your betrayal story.
Yeah. Um.
Got you. Okay, you probably
Oh.
should have clarified that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this one won't take terribly long because I'm pretty sure I did tell this story, on here a while ago. But so I
Reusing
did.
stories, are we?
I am because it fits.
Deducted points. I have to consider you less.
But so I did in middle school. I would do tech crew for my school's musicals and stuff like that. Or not
Nerd.
musicals, but whatever play production. I enjoyed tech crew.
Nerd.
um,
Continue.
and
Ready,
so,
Steven, who am I? I enjoy Tech Crew.
Wait, I know this one. I know the answer.
um uh and I Andreas actually played a lot of parts in the school productions and stuff like that, and that was yeah, I mean, yeah, did tech crew because yeah, I was not a person who liked to be in
You
the
weren't
spotlight.
personable.
I did
Yeah,
not like to
got
be
that.
I did not want to be on stage and have a lot of people looking at me at once. So I was
So
like,
he decided to be on a podcast and have a lot of people listen to him instead.
yeah, but they're not looking at me.
Not yet, they're not. Don't know what that means. Anyway.
um,
Can we just talk about the irony, though? That you're dating someone the complete opposite of you, though?
Opposites
It's-
attract.
Well, I know, but still, it's weird.
I mean,
How?
obviously I've gotten better about that, but at the time, yeah, no, Tech Crew was my place in the shadows.
You say that as if you didn't do Tech Crew in high school.
I did do Tech Crew in high school.
He was confirming that that was where he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Continue.
well, it's more of an I don't mind if like more people see me now, but I'm not gonna willingly put myself in that situation if I don't have to. And so, but yeah, I did tech crew, and so at this point, I guess kind of ties over because yeah, no, Mickey was off doing he was doing his whatever he was doing, but so it was Andreas and I and this other guy who we became closer friends with. I will I'll go with Oranges on this one. His name's Oranges.
Brandon, you're not allowed to name your kids.
Okay. Oranges, like myself, was not someone who wanted to be like acting or whatever like that. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do tech crew with you." So, yeah, we were doing tech crew, and this was sixth grade at this point. Wait, it was either sixth grade or seventh grade. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember exactly what started all of this, but I do remember it was getting to the point where play
I do
production was
remember I
coming up.
finished it.
I did finish it. But yeah, I was getting closer to the actual like production days and stuff like that, so we were pretty much getting into like dress rehearsal, whatever stuff like that. At one point in these dress rehearsals, it was getting to a point where like we're really needing to get like our timing down and all that, so it was getting really frantic and stuff like that backstage. And at one point in time, I cannot remember if it was Oranges or if it was me. I think it was me. I accident like Oranges was like in I was grabbing a prop or something like that, and like I was trying to get to the other side of the stage or something like that, and I accidentally rammed into Oranges and hit him in the groin.
Accidentally, sure.
And he took that personal. And so he he uh he decided that I also needed to feel that pain. So he proceeded to uh hit me in the groin as well. And he did it and very hard to the point where I was on my knees. And I was like, yeah, no, it wasn't great. So after what was an accident and not so much an accident after that, turned into a series of us just we were basically for like the next few like the other like next like two like rehearsals that we had, we were basically hurting each other.
What
every
is it with every story you tell that has to deal with some sort of physical retaliation?
I I don't know. But basically, yeah, no, we were, to say the least, we were hurting each other on a basis. And finally, it got down to a point where he got me good one day. Like I had kind of like I'd let my guard down. He came out of nowhere and he got me good, and I was left just sitting down in pain.
I want you to
And
say that
I was
sentence again in a way that wasn't really sexual.
okay. he he left me in pain. I was on the floor writhing in pain, and all I was thinking to myself was, I'm gonna get him. Like, I'm gonna get, like, so the next school day happens, and I have it all planned out in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hang around him during recess. We had 15-minute recess breaks in the morning. Well, in middle school, it was just considered break because we didn't get to go out or play. It was just chilling outside for 15 minutes or whatever. And I was like, all right, I'm going to hang around him during break and wait until I can get him into an isolated position. And so he's like, so during break, he says, like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna go use the restroom, whatever, stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, I'll go with you. No, I'll go with you." Like, I think I think Andreas went with those two, but so we're in the we're going in the we're in the restroom or whatever and stuff, and it's just us in the restroom. I'm like, perfect.
Whoa, whoa, dude, calm down.
and so, and so and so I say, I tell Andreas to just stay back. Like I think I filled Andreas in what I was about to do, so he knew he knew what was about to happen. So I told him, just stay back. And um, I go to oranges and I said, "Hey, oranges," and he's like, "Yeah," and he turns around and I think when I originally told this story, I, s- I exaggerated my words, and I was like, "Oh yeah, payback, motherfucker," whatever. But I think realistically, what came out of my mouth was, I just verbally said, and I
Fucking
punched
goblin
that.
child,
I,
Jesus.
I, just- I don't. I think sucker punches are usually very lowly things to do when I see it in like movies and TV. But I sucker punched.
I'm sorry, wait, hang on. You guys were
And
taking turns punching each other in the groin?
yes,
That's like a foot job. Man to man, you don't lay a
Oh,
hand on someone else's
mm.
groin. It's if you're gonna go for the groin, you're using your foot. The
yeah,
hell's wrong
no.
with you?
Like I said, we were no. So
Gross, dude.
yeah, no, I punched him as hard as I could, yelling out revenge. And yeah, and so poor Origins. He collapses to the ground, and I immediately just feel guilt because
Rightfully so. You
um
exploded a man's testicle.
and I just
I'm so
immediately
glad I
feel
don't
guilt
have balls.
because I hit him so hard that he sank to the ground, and he he was weeping and stuff like that, and I was sitting there with him for all of that 15 minutes of recess, and
You're a terrible person.
I'm glad no one else walked into that bathroom because I wasn't sure how I was going to explain what just happened. But
Why your friend was grabbing his manhood and you were sitting there just being like, it's okay.
yeah, no, I felt I understood what guilt was that day, but I
You're a horrible human being.
um so that happened, and then no, later down the road, we came to an understanding because he had the balls to, in the middle of the class when we were in a English period or something like that, and I think we were just working on essays, and I was sitting kind of in like the left like middle part of the classroom, but everyone was doing their own like essays. They were having other people check their essays and all that, and he had the balls to punch me in the middle of all of that, and uh
It ended with him putting you in your place.
well, he went for it, and
Bruh.
he hit the general area, but not as bad as whatever I did to him. So I was like,
Well,
you
yeah,
know
after
what,
what you
you
did, he
know.
doesn't have any balls anymore, so.
Jesus Christ.
So
Have
I
we
was
been
like,
talking for 2.5 hours?
It's
um,
possible.
Oh my god.
and so I know. I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, I know this needs to stop. I'll let him have that one. I was still feeling. So, so that's
I
how
gave him
that ended.
permission.
I accepted that fate, and I figured that was penance for what I had done to him. So that's where that whole thing ended. So
After I cut out some unnecessary details, I feel like I can get us back to about an hour and a half. I think that's where the footage we're sitting at is a little bit about 2 hours or something like that. But yeah, I can get us back to an hour and a half, maybe less.
Is that including the small talk before we left?
Yes. The small talk was only like
Excellent.
It was like 17 minutes or something when Brandon said he's leaving and just left us all alone. All right, but anyways, because we've been going on forever, I don't know. Gotta think about this one, and while I'm thinking about this one, do you guys have any like parting words of wisdom?
fine. uh, sometimes
Great
revenge.
wisdom, Brandon. Great ounce of wisdom.
I don't know if mine's really words that should be taken.
I
Uh,
don't think anyone should listen to the man who constantly sucker punched a guy in the groin.
it was
It's literally
it
it
was a
is an
mutual search
you're both at
situation.
fault. It is an unspoken rule that if you are going to attack a man in his manhood, that you do so with the foot. You do not lay a hand on another man's area.
Um, but yeah, if you're gonna do revenge on someone, don't do it on. Make sure they actually deserve it, and not like
the reverse
uh, uh,
the reverse
our
theme of Disney movies. Just
our
make sure it's deserved, you know.
yeah, our stuff was petty, but I feel like some of your guys' story, no, revenge was definitely due to some of those people, but this was just petty, and I learned what guilt was, because,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we were also but believe it or
It's a
not, we were also
long parting words.
You know, a lot of
Um,
wisdom, but
Oh,
also
oh,
not any wisdom is in this.
believe it or not, at the end of the day, I was friends. We were friends, and we did this to each other. So
And yep, that's just what guys do. That is a healthy guy relationship.
Yeah.
My
So,
parting words of wisdom is teenagers, stop being little monsters. Fuck you. Anyways. If you're a teenager and in high school, eat a dick, alright?
Yeah.
Tired of your stupid shit. Is that your parting words of wisdom too, Grace?
No, my parting words of wisdom are just be smart enough to realize people are awful. Just be like me. Be able to call it from a mile away, so you never even have anything to contribute.
And if you want to be more like Grace, you can purchase her online class on how to turn down more offensive people.
Yeah.
Starting at $5.99 a month.
$5.99, bro. Nah, let's up it.
Starting at $59.99 a month.
Let's lower it.
Starting at $25.99 a month. I feel like I'm playing the improv game.
Link
Change.
in the description. Yeah, change. Oh my god, I love that game. We need to do that. Not today, but
Link in the description below.
it's not actually there.
That's actually our first sponsor of the episode.
Yeah, I'm a self-sponsor. So what?
Self-sponsor. Alright. You know what? Did we agree on who had to cast the first stone? Was that an agreed upon thing, or is it just...
no.
No, it's just whoever.
Brandon, do it!
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah, you. Do it!
Uh, I, well,
This sounds like your wisdom. Sounds a bit like the wisdom thing you were talking about.
I don't know. I feel like both stories um, were definitely on the topic and hit in different ways. I guess the only thing that I would say that was different or would be considered out of place or whatever was just Grace, you took revenge on someone else's behalf rather than your own personally. So I guess
Fuck
I would
you.
I'd have to go with you. I'm sorry.
Well, I would like to nominate. Not even nominate. I would like to fuck over Brandon because instead of coming up with original content, he decided to rehash something that we've already heard before.
This is true. This is called back from Kicking It Back to the Playground, where you talked about the fact that you and your friends just beat each other up constantly. I do remember this story and the episode you talked about it. Because ironically enough, it was one of the things in which if I ever got someone to actually animate like a specific section, it would be that story, ironically. Just because of the way you described it in the first episode you talked about it. It was, I would just love to see it animated.
I don't think any of my stories are animate worthy.
Some of them are. I don't remember which ones, but some of them are. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember which ones I like was thinking about when I was like, all of these could be whatever, but I know that we all have a few that I would love to just
Well, you cannot
see
remember while
animated.
picking a third wheel.
This is true. It is kind of up to me at this moment. Brandon's argument is, I guess, kind of fair, but also wrong because I just said that the topic for today is revenge stories and betrayal stories. And so that makes Grace's contribution perfectly valid.
Suck it!
I wasn't saying it wasn't valid. I was just saying as far as difference, like if we're looking for like differences in stories or whatever.
Not necessarily,
Suck
because
my dick, it's valid.
by dicking over Cameron, it indirectly affected Grace because it was pissing her off. So, I mean, it's, totally valid. And Grace's argument against you is also incredibly valid because we've heard this story before. The only part that you brought that was new was the fact that your friend walked away from you because you guys weren't cool anymore. in
That
elementary
was a separate.
It's still it being separate has nothing to do with anything here. All right, Mister. I'm the one who's in charge of deciding this. I'd watch your tone with me.
Well, I feel like I know where this is going, so I don't know if I
Do you?
want
And are you
to.
gonna sass the shit out of me then, just to have your own moral high ground?
I'll see you in like 5 minutes.
I'm not gonna explain my reasoning like you. Nah, I will say, I gotta say, Brandon, you didn't bring enough to the table today because you brought something again that we've already discussed. I'm sure that in all of your past of beating up children, because why the fuck not?
I was wronged first, and I reciprocated the treatment that was
Violence
done
does
to me.
not conduce more violence. That's called a war crime. Violence does not mean you can react more violently or in equal violence. All right.
I was in elementary/middle school.
And that's where fucking psychopaths and world tyrants start their earliest of evil actions. So
That's not true. Hitler didn't even make it to school.
I didn't say school was the reason. I was talking about that age group. That's when that forms.
Whatever you say.
I can choose you, Greg.
Okay, do it. I don't give a fuck.
I'm not petty like Brandon.
I am. Fuck you and fuck Egypt.
Yeah, but Brandon, I'm picking you. I'm voting for you. And guess what? You don't have a third wheel pass to say otherwise.
No, well,
Because guess which one? Guess who has that? It's me. I'm the one who has that.
I pickpocketed you, and it worked. I rolled correctly, and now I have it, so I'm using it now.
Well, you've activated my trap card of you know who else pickpocketed you? That's if we get fucked. Yeah, Brandon, you're the third wheel. Just because of the fact that you didn't bring any you brought an old thing back. It's a good reference, but you told the same story that we heard. I think in more depth than you did the first time.
Yeah, all the more reason to be like.
All the more reason to draw out a longer version than the previous version that you provided. Nah, I gotta give it to you. For a second, I was leaning your way, Brandon, where I was just like, yeah, depending on what Brandon has, it might have to go with Grace here. But nah, you vocally were just like, at the beginning of your story, just, ha, this has already been told before, but I'm gonna do it again. And I was just like,
oh,
what?
I have this. Fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah, there's nothing you can do about it, so deal with
I
it.
have a speech.
What's your speech?
Cry, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I hope you cry. I did
Today-
not have sex with this woman.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you as the epitome of
Ladies,
failure.
hoes, and non-binary bros.
The Grand Master of Incompetence and the undisputed champion of losers. I humbly accept this opportunity to address you with a speech that resonates with my incredible ability to come up short in every aspect. I must admit, losing this competition was not an unfamiliar sensation for me. It seems that no matter how hard I try, I'm consistently outshined by those who possess actual talents.
Dude, they're coming for blood.
I love ChatGPT. It's hatred for you.
So, if anything, my failure today only serves to reinforce the notion that I am indeed a master of mediocrity.
Master of mediocrity.
As I reflect upon my lackluster performance, I can't help but marvel at my remarkable capacity to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. It's as if the universe conspires against me, making sure I remain firmly rooted in this state of perpetual inadequacy. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all those who played a role in my downfall. To the judges, thank you for your impeccable ability to discern talent and
You're
competence.
welcome.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
And for reminding me just how woefully inadequate I truly am. Your discerning
Dude, they come
eyes,
for blood every time.
your
So funny.
discerning eyes and keen judgment have driven home the point that I am nothing more than a pitiful participant in the industry of life. My competitors, congratulations on your victories, and thank you for your
Thanks.
unrelenting excellence.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You have truly showcased the stark contrast between your boundless talent and my profound ineptitude.
Oh no, I know.
Your success has eliminated the vast chasm that separates us, leaving me wallowing in a sea of self-pity.
So long.
To my friends and family, I apologize for subjecting you to the excruciating disappointment of witnessing my defeat. Your unwavering support in the face of my consistent failure is both baffling and inspiring. I can only hope that one day I will live up to your faith in me, but let's be honest, it's highly unlikely.
Shit,
And-
dude,
and-
Chat GPT is like, let's make him sound like the world's cringiest pick me.
Yeah, it is kind of pick me like.
In conclusion, as I step down from this stage of humiliation, I want to thank everyone who contributed to this unparalleled display of my inadequacy. Your presence in my life has served as a constant reminder of just how far I have fallen from the mark of success.
Oh, you're welcome.
I will continue to bask in the glory of my pathetic existence.
The glory.
Content in the knowledge that I am the embodiment of a super petty loser. Thank you, and
Oh,
please
petty.
excuse me.
Oh shit.
Thank you, and please excuse me while I retreat to the shadows of perpetual defeat.
Oh my god.
Super petty loser. I gotta say that you're not really standing on a stage. It's more of just like a pile of hay. But you know, you do you, buddy. Good speech, long speech. I don't know how much of that's gonna make it into the final.
Long speech.
Good speech, long speech. Funny speech, but you know, a lot of that was just, yeah, honestly, desperation.
Any party. Oh my god.
Alright, well, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Third Wheel. If you want to listen to us make fun of Brandon in a different episode, just click on any of the other ones, because it probably happened in that one. Yeah.
And in the next one.
Yeah, it's definitely a reoccurring thing.
It's like our whole shtick.
Absolutely. Subscribe on all other podcast streaming platforms. Check us out on YouTube. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with being the third wheel unless you can't come up with any new original content to bring when you had like 2 months to prep for this topic.